All right, we're gonna talk about the draft results from yesterday. I'm gonna do a longer video in terms of a mock, potentially this week, talking about it. Hopefully by tomorrow or even the day after. But the hot takes after the draft have been insane. You can't make rhyme or reason of anything. And one thing that I've learned is there's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to this, and um, teams are feeding the reporters things that they're thinking, and it's usually a low-level person that's instructed to just give any other name but the name that or the names that they've been considering. So we don't know what's going to happen, and they're also propping up the players that they want for trade. So in other words, so Orlando won the draft pick, the number one pick. Let's say that they wanted to acquire more assets, and they know Oklahoma City is wants Chet Holmgren really bad. They'll say that they're going to take Chet, so that OKC will call them to offer compensation, and Oklahoma City can buy any pick in the draft that they want with the amount of draft picks that they have. So that's part of the cat and mouse game that they're playing right now. Teams are playing. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. We don't know what their offseason goals are, who they're trying to move. So a lot of it is just positioning at this point. I do feel like it's going to be an active offseason, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to just take a quick look. This is the Bleacher Report's mindset when it comes to the draft. I just want this to be a quick video, so I'm not even going to go crazy on this. They have Jabari Smith going first. You cannot argue that. It's going to be Jabari, or it's going to be Chet, or Banchero, Paolo Banchero. So it's going to be one of those three. We don't know who. Orlando Magic needs a lot of help. The backcourt, I think they can wait for next year when they're back here again. But I would like to see them take Jabari. I think this is the smartest choice. This guy is a two-way player, and he's an incredibly gifted shooter. So there's no guessing here. This would be a smart pick, but they may go with the bedazzle of Chet. And again, the guy that drafted Giannis, the GM that drafted Giannis, is with the Orlando Magic. And so is Jalen Suggs, who played with him, I believe, in high school. So Chet is still an option here. This is definitely happening. OKC, I can see them drilling for Chet Holmgren. This would be something that they would just absolutely love. But again, smoke and mirrors. When it comes to this, they may just force their hand and say that they're going to take Chet so that OKC can send compensation, and they'll still get whoever they want. If I was Orlando and what they've gone through, I'm moving down. This is a perfect position to move down anywhere in the top 4 and get additional compensation if they had a brain cell. We'll see what they do. Houston Rockets, again, they're going to take whoever they can out of the top 3. I don't think that they're going to take Jaden Ivey here, because they already have a lot of backcourt pieces. If they do, then they're going to become the Kings. Like, what do you need 3 elite backcourt players? You can only have 1 ball. I honestly think that whoever goes here, you're going to struggle to get shots, because Kevin Porter and Jalen Green are 2 players and Christian Wood, who need the ball. So it's tough. I mean, they could also potentially trade down and get a few defensive players instead, but I doubt that they're going to do that. They're going to just take it and figure it out later. Sacramento, like, this is what tanking gets you. You get this just horrific franchise, and they get to draft again. In the lottery, they jumped up. That's the only team that jumped up, and they're getting rewarded for their just awful management of talent and of their front office. They already have 2 point guards. Would I be surprised at this? No, I'm not surprised. They could take a cheerleader here. We don't know what the hell they're going to do, and they're a wild card. We don't know what they're going to do. I actually have seen a lot of draft boards having Shaedon Sharpe here. He is the mystery man. No one has seen him play outside of high school. He did not play in college that year, but he's an absolute stud apparently. So if somebody is hot and you think of other players that have risen, their stock has risen, it would be Sharpe. The Pistons getting Sharpe here would be a very good moment for them. He would pair well with Cade Cunningham. Here we have Keegan Murray, another one who's been rising in the draft boards. He can go as high as 4 or 5, and all the way down to about 9. So he has a really wide potential to go anywhere. We'll see what happens there. AJ Griffin, I highly doubt they already have Damian Lillard and the babyface kid that plays with them. So I don't know if they're going to take AJ Griffin here. I would think a big would be better, but who knows? They may like his potential. We'll see. The Pelicans. The Pelicans or the Spurs. Well, I don't think the Spurs would take him, but I think this is where Mathurin goes. I don't think he falls farther than this, unless they want like Johnny Davis to pair with McCollum. I think Mathurin would be perfect here. If he doesn't go here, I don't see him going to the Spurs, and he may go to the Wizards. So I highly doubt that he'll get to the Knicks. Jalen Duren. That would be interesting. I don't know what's on Pop's mindset. They have DeJounte Murray, so maybe a wing wouldn't be prudent. Jalen Duren is a nice pick, but he's pretty young. We'll see how it goes. I don't see him going here, but wilder things have happened. Johnny Davis here. Johnny Davis ran a team by himself. He took a lot of big shots in college. He carried that team. I don't know how this makes sense with Beal, because that's Beal's role in the NBA. I mean, unless they feel that they're going to move Beal, and again, smoke and mirrors, so they may be potentially having a deal in place to move Bradley Beal. And if that's the case, then Johnny Davis would make sense. So again, we have to know what they're planning to do, but they're not going to show everybody their cards or show their hand to everybody. It doesn't make any sense. So Johnny Davis or wing makes sense if you're planning to move on from Beal, unless you're a pure point guard. The next here, this would be a boon if they were to get Dyson Daniels. This guy has tremendous defensive potential, along with the player that's following him, Sohan, who's been kind of like he's risen based on the play of a lot of young defensive players that, you need defense and you need versatile wings. You think Draymond Green, you think Matisse Thybulle, and even Herb Jones from the Pelicans, how much those defensive players impact winning. So that's the benefit. This is why he's risen up, and he's only averaging 9 points. I mean, Draymond averages 8 points, and if it wasn't for him, the Warriors are not where they are. But Dyson Daniels for the Knicks would be amazing. He is exactly what Tibbs wants. He wants defensive first. But again, the Knicks, every time that you think that you know what they're going to do, they may trade down to get more assets, especially for the double draft of 2023 next year. They have several picks and several second-round picks. So they want, and look up what double draft means. It's basically that they changed the rule. So we're going to get all the players that are required to stay an extra year, and now the new players that can come in at 18. So next year is going to be insane. So they may flip this pick and move down to get more assets for next year. But Dyson Daniels, if they stay, there's a lot of options here. One of these players from 4 to 11 could potentially fall into the Knicks' lap. The Knicks are going to get the overspill of the cup. Sohan again for OKC, they're in a talent acquisition, so this would be the best case scenario for them on draft night if they're able to get someone like Sohan who doesn't need the ball, and Chet to play together. I think that would be a good scenario for them. I think this is probably the most likely of anything other than Chet or Jabari at number 1. Mark Williams to the Hornets. They need a rim runner, someone in the front court for Melo. And this guy is a defensive hog. He will block a lot of shots, get a lot of rebounds, do the dirty work. So I think this is a good choice for Charlotte. And lastly, I don't know much about him. I know that a lot of Knicks Twitter was raving about this guy, Maliki Branham. Yeah, I mean, it's saying here that he's not very athletic. He has a lot of good pull-up shooting, pick-up play. He's young at 19. They may take a flyer on somebody this young because they're pretty set. When I did the last mock draft, Cleveland, out of all the teams in the lottery, should not be here. They just got decimated by injuries toward the end of last year, so they kind of slipped in here towards the end. And they can take a gamble on someone that's a long-term project. I do agree with that. With with just tremendous upside. Cleveland here would be smart to take somebody that would not be ready and does not need time, because you're not going to make that rotation. That team is just too good. So I think if this is the case, this is a good call. But anyway, be on the lookout for that video. We're going to upload it soon. And we'll talk about a potential mock draft, which would be great. And we'll get out there this week. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you guys for joining in, and appreciate all the love on that last video for the mock lottery. That was one of my best videos that I've done in terms of analytics. So I appreciate the support. In any case, be on the lookout, and we'll do more stuff coming up.